So really quick, before we get into more A to Z stuff, I'm going to ask each one of you something about obviously the other bands that you're in. So Nick, I got to be honest with you. I Am the Storm is probably my favorite Redemption album. And,
awesome.
and I mean, the whole record, like the last two albums, I've really liked quite a bit. I think those are your two best albums. And, you know, going forward, I mean, I'm like, you know, like for example, Long Night's Journey and Today, I'm like, how are they going to top this? And then I Am the Storm came out, and I thought that was a lot better than the one before that, which I really liked. You know, what are you guys up to? What's Redemption up to? I mean, you writing for another record at some point when you're done with the A to Z thing?
Beginning to, we had a couple of songs that we were still sort of working through on the last one, and we had more than enough music. I mean, it was the way COVID set in, we actually thought we were going to write 2 records at once, and then I started getting antsy. I'm like, let's just release a record. We got a record and a half of music done. So there's a start on a couple of songs. I've got a lot of ideas that I need to sort of put together, but haven't really started yet. I'm pleased that you like them. I'm pretty proud of them myself, and we have a sort of set our own bar. It's not based on commercial success because, you know, we are an obscure little band, an obscure little genre, but I do feel I obviously want to create music that I think is good myself, but we have a kind of a unique and special relationship with our fan base, and I feel like a duty of obligation to deliver for them, and I'm certainly been appreciative for many years of your consistent support. So I want to make a record that Tony Webster's going to like, and hopefully we will. I will say, to sort of provide some connective tissue here, one of the great things that's happened for the last 2 records for Redemption, we're also very fortunate to have on the new A to Z material, is Simone Mulleroni, who's, I think, pound for pound, maybe as good as any guitar player in the world. Unbelievable technique, unbelievable taste. His role in Redemption is to play over stupid time signatures that nobody else could manage and just come up with insane stuff. His role here, sort of he kind of wanted it, was to dial it back and just focus on being, you know, like Neil Schon style, just super melodic, super tasteful. And he brings his own sort of sense of flair to it. But every note is just, you listen to a solo of his or just a little intricacy that'll add to a song, you're like, God, that just elevates it. Every note elevates it. And so very lucky in both of these creative expressions to be able to work with Simone.
No, he's definitely, it's interesting because I met him as just doing the mix on the first record. He didn't play on the first record. And then when we were doing the second A through Z record, Nick suggested that, Simone's like this ridiculously amazing guitar player. And as much as, his leads playing is phenomenal, and he can kind of do it all, and he adapts to the song unbelievably well. 2 things. Number one, in his lead playing, you know what he's going to play in the next bar without hearing it, just because he's like talking to you. And there's so many times when he first played stuff for me, I kind of knew where he was going just because it's that relatable to an audience. But the other thing is he really took on that kind of Steve Lukather, Neil Schon style role of guitar orchestration parts that are countering what Nick's playing in the rhythm section. And that's kind of, that just took, talking about taking songs to next levels. And it's like, well, wait a minute, we sounded like a 3-piece, we sounded like Robin Trower, now all of a sudden we sound like Genesis. And it was just, his parts just added, the musicality was just amazing. And again, dude, do whatever you want. Just go crazy. Whatever you think, everybody loves you and trusts you, just go. And it's the greatest thing in the world. And you hear it back and go, it's exactly what I was hearing. Yeah.
No, absolutely. So Mark, really quick, before I get back into some of the A to Z stuff going on, the Warlord album, it's been, I don't know, a couple months now that thing's been out. How's the reception been? Because all of the hate seems to have dissipated when you guys announced you were going to put the record out. There are all these haters. Now I don't see any of them. How's that been?
It's been great. It's like your typical Warlord record, big hype, and after a month it's kind of gone. Truth be told, the business isn't the greatest business in the world. No. We are going out to play some live gigs, but again, it's there again, like a lot of bands. We have our fans. we're not reaching into the Taylor Swift crowd. We're not hitting the Foo Fighters crowd. Warlord is Warlord for people that kind of grew up with it. Maybe they turn it on to their kids. High Roller, the record label, has been absolutely great. I mean, just great. But it's not Capitol Records. It's not A&M or Atlantic or whoever's around these days. So it's very niche, as they say. But the response has been great. I mean,
yeah,
people are going to say whatever they're going to say, and that's fine. But no, it's fine. But just kind of have to manage expectations, as they say. And I'll be honest with you, it was a weird one for me because Bill wasn't there, and everything I'd ever done. It's almost like I'll never forget my mom telling the story how she'd never been to a movie in her life without my dad. And then when my dad passed and she went to the movie, it was kind of weird, that kind of thing. So I don't know. I'm back. No, it was interesting. It was cool. I'm glad we did it. I'm glad we kept Bill's music alive. But it was kind of strange at times. Everybody did a great job, and again, all pros. Everybody went the extra mile. There's nothing wrong with the band. It was just me psychologically, kind of a weird one for me. I'm used to just Bill and I doing what we're doing, and that kind of thing. So it's just weird.